Shocking truth about the U.S. household debt. How much do Americans owe, and what are the main sources of their debt? How does this debt affect their financial health and well-being? And what can they do to reduce their debt and improve their financial situation? Stay tuned to find out. According to the latest data from the Federal Reserve, American households owe a record $17.1 trillion in debt as of the third quarter of 2023. This is an increase of 5.6% from a year ago, and the highest level since the data began in 1952. What are the main sources of this debt? The biggest one is mortgages, which account for $12 trillion, or 70% of the total household debt. This is also a record high, driven by low interest rates and high demand for housing. The average mortgage balance per borrower is $224,000, up from $215,000 a year ago. The second largest source of debt is auto loans, which amount to $1.6 trillion, or 9% of the total household debt. This is also a record high, reflecting the rising prices and demand for new and used vehicles. The average auto loan balance per borrower is $20,000, up from $19,000 a year ago. The third largest source of debt is student loans, which stand at $1.6 trillion, or 9% of the total household debt. This is slightly lower than the peak of $1.7 trillion in the first quarter of 2020, but still a huge burden for many Americans. The average student loan balance per borrower is $38,000, down from $39,000 a year ago. The fourth largest source of debt is credit card debt, which totals $1 trillion, or 6% of the total household debt. This is also slightly lower than the peak of $1.1 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2019, but still a significant amount for many consumers. The average credit card balance per borrower is $5,800, down from $6,200 a year ago. How does this debt affect your financial health and well-being? It depends on your income, expenses, savings, and goals. Some debt can be beneficial if it helps you invest in your education, career, or home. But too much debt can be stressful and costly if it exceeds your ability to repay it comfortably and timely. One way to measure your debt situation is to look at your debt-to-income ratio, DTI, which is the percentage of your monthly income that goes toward paying your debt. The lower your DTI, the more manageable your debt is. The higher your DTI, the more risky your debt is. According to the Federal Reserve Board, the average DTI for American households was 14.4% in 2020, which means that for every $100 of income, they spent $14.40 on debt payments. This is below the historical average of 16.3%, but still above the recommended level of 10% or less. If you have a high DTI, you may want to consider some strategies to reduce your debt and improve your financial situation. Make a budget and track your spending habits. Prioritize paying off high-interest debts first. Negotiate lower interest rates or payment plans with your creditors. Consolidate your debts into one loan with a lower interest rate. Seek professional advice from a credit counselor or a financial planner. Avoid taking on new debts unless absolutely necessary. Remember that you are not alone in this journey. Millions of Americans are facing similar challenges and opportunities to achieve financial freedom and security. We hope you found it informative and helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we upload new videos.